Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brian again. I got yet another unboxing here for you guys. This one I am super excited about. So this is my my order from the Obuy summer sale. So we're going to crack into this. There's a lot of really great stuff in here. Some things I got to get my hands on at Blade Show. When I got to I was lucky enough to get to spend some time with some of the guys and gals from Obuy. So big shout out to them, Toby, Liv, and Angela. Just absolutely great people. I really think hard about what companies get my money, what companies I do business with. Not only is it product, it's also the people themselves, and they're just absolutely genuine people. So really glad I picked that up. Review on this I'm actually filming tonight, so that's another part of the reason. And also a huge shout out to my buddy Shelton, excuse me. He just picked him up a cormorant today, and used a little bit of my suggestion on that, and he's loving it so far. So again, shout out to him, and we'll have that video up soon. But now into what we've got here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the small stuff and kind of work my way up. And this box is already kind of crushed. I don't know if I have use for two of these, so one of these may end up in a giveaway sometime soon. Coming up on 50 subscribers, which is amazing. I was at 30 subscribers yesterday, and it's just it blew up kind of almost instantly. So to jump almost 20 subscribers in one day was really awesome. Hopefully that continues. But I was expecting those to be connected. So the snap rings are not connected in the bag. Let me get this one out of here. They are in there. All right. So just real quick, I'm just going to slide these snap rings on because that will make it a little more easy to manipulate this thing. Not snap rings, real easy to mess with. I know it's not something that you really consider, but you can't get snap rings that are too tight and too hard to mess with. So this is just a little magnetic titanium clasp. So you have to push that over to unlock it, and then you can they're just a magnet. And just magnet apart. So, like I said, I know I'm going to use at least one of these. I've got how I use my keys. my car keys are something that I take on and off of my keys fairly regularly. Sometimes I drive my car if the family's home or anything like that. I don't bring my house keys with me. There's a couple reasons behind that, but mainly if ever something happens, I don't live in an area where carjackings or anything happen, but if that were to happen, they get my car keys and nothing else. But this will probably go on there just so it makes it really easy for me to pull my keys off, and I won't have right now I have a fairly large carabiner that holds them together, and this will replace that. So those are really cool. I'll set them off to the side here. Like I said, now we'll go to, I'm going to save that driver for last just because that's, like I said, I've got a lot to talk about on that driver. Now we're going to go with this whistle. And I would really like to test this thing out, but the only way I can do these videos in peace, if you don't mind saying that, is doing them at night when everybody's asleep. So I don't think everybody would be very happy with me doing that. Let's see if there's anything else in the box here. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Okay. So this one I will, this is one I'll definitely keep as well. I really do like the form factor of this. And I believe I got to check one of these out as well at Blade Show. Again, comes with a really nice key ring, which, attention to detail, meaning everything, the key ring is titanium as well, because you have a compass. So you don't want anything that could be potentially magnetic around your compass. So let's see if it's showing true north here. I can't hold it sideways, otherwise it doesn't work, but if you guys can see that, that is all but spot on accurate. I mean, it probably is spot on accurate, because as I'm sitting, the sun rises straight ahead over here, sets behind me. If any of y'all have seen my pictures on Instagram or Facebook, you'll notice that a lot of the times I'm taking those pictures that it's right at sunset, right in front of my flag, and that's on my front porch. So the sunset's right there at the front of the house. It really makes it real nice to sit out there. But I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I don't care. So y'all may hear dogs bark or people freak out. I don't know what this is going to do with my 4 dogs that I have in the house, but let's see what it sounds like. I'm going to give it a little, very light whistle here. Okay, so it is not excruciatingly loud with just a small whistle, but that is me using yeah, my dogs are starting to freak out. So that's just me using my breathing breath to blow that whistle. So if with a really good breath, that would really make things very loud. Bear with me just a moment. I gotta calm my dog back. All right, I'm back. Yeah, my my dog didn't know what was going on. She came running up, started growling. She didn't know what was going on. But so now we've got another one. I was actually really excited for this as well. This is the Yucca. So nice little keychain knife. I've had one of the SOG or SOG, however, whatever they want to be called this year, key knives for years and years and years. My wife has one. But what really drew me to this one was the blade shape and the fact that it is, G10 scales. It's an actual, torch construction. Yeah, so it's, I don't know that I would ever need to take it apart, but if I did, looks like I can. That, and I mean, come on, who doesn't love a Wharncliffe or sheep's foot or worn foot, whatever you want to call it? I love that blade shape. I just think it's awesome. And then, just like the SOG, lock back. Very easy to open. I mean, and it locks up. I mean, it locks up solid. I'm going to try to hold my hand completely still. Yeah, no side to side, no up and down. I don't foresee there. I mean, the lock strength is good enough. The spring strength is good enough there. It's not going to like shake out or anything when it's on your keys. Let's see. We'll just do a plastic cut test, Howie. Yeah, I mean, it's push cutting through that plastic, so I mean, it's pretty sharp. I've got some paper here. I'll just see if it... Not that you need a key knife to be a razor blade, but I mean, I've had sharper, but it is push cutting through the paper. It's not the smoothest in the world, but it is push cutting. So I mean, if you actually draw cut with it, it draw cuts pretty well. Not bad for a keychain knife. So I'll probably take it and put it on the strop, and you can see here. I'll zoom in on it. Get focus. Come on, focus. But you can see the blade. Why is this thing not focusing here? There we go. Oh, that's fail. I can't get to focus on that, so sorry guys. What I was trying to do is you can see. Maybe I can get it to do it here. You can see it's more of it's a very toothy edge, which is why it was just kind of more ripping the paper, which honestly, for what you would typically use something like this for, you know, whether it be opening like plastic packages and things like that, toothy edge might help out. Anyway, really cool, especially since it didn't cost me anything. I really like it. It'll be going on my keychain. I don't know why, but I've got enough knives that I keep with me on a daily basis. So let's take a look at this guy. So I was really interested in this as well, mainly because again, I'm a huge fan of the blade shape. Anything Wharncliffe or Sheepsfoot, like, you know, to all the manufacturers out there, if you ever wanted to get me excited about a knife, not that anybody really cares, but make it a Wharncliffe or a Sheepsfoot or something in between. It's kind of almost a guarantee to get me to fall in love with a knife. Alright, so we get a cool little patch. Let's get it the right way up here. These guys know how to do a patch. I mean, that is just really awesome. You know, it tells you exactly what the knife is meant for. It's a Camp Cook knife. Another video I'm doing tonight is on something very similar, but this is going to be one that can actually go in my bag, and this will be, this knife will be one that goes in my bag, and that's probably where it will stay. I don't foresee using it as any sort of a carry knife. Of course, you get the usual. You got your little O-knife, towel and everything, all your books, all that stuff is in there. Now let's get to the knife, and it is a big boy. I seen somebody else. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly who it was, but somebody else did a video on that. It just barely fits in the case. I think maybe that's why they made it as big as it was, because if they made it any bigger, they'd have to give it its own pouch, but it just barely fits in there. All right. You can just tell Kiser's the OEM of this thing. It just screams Kiser with the G10. Love how they did that. You know, I love that look of G10 when they leave it. I don't want to call it natural because it's not natural, but when they leave that grain structure in the G10, I love that. Love the pop of the blue pivot collar, blue pivot screw. That's really cool. So you've got the collar here, and then on this side the whole screw is the anodized blue. Fairly thick O-knife pocket clip. O-knife branding. That's another thing I really love, is billboarding is kept to a minimum on this knife. So you've got your Century R1 14C28N, and then you just got your serial number or product number there on the back. Let's see. I'm going to zoom out real quick just so we can see the action on this thing because it's such a big knife. So one thing I will say is that spring bar is super, super easy to pull back. I'm looking, trying to see if it's got multiple holes. It doesn't. So it's just a single. And it's a little stiff. But it's not on bearings, it's on washers. So it's not meant to be a flick open, anything like that. It is meant to just be just that. You open it up, use it, fold it back up. That being said, I might try to play with the pivot a little bit just to get it to where I want to play with it a little bit, but I'll decide if I want to do that or not. But you can see it's got almost the what's that knife called, the Sandoku kind of shape to it, kind of reminiscent of that. If you just kind of chop that off there, it's kind of where you're at. Super thin, or not super thin, I mean it's got thin blade stock. We'll zoom back in. Okay. So thin blade stock, we'll grab, actually, you know what, let's grab a knife that pretty much everybody knows, the Elementum. So it is, compared to an EDC knife, kind of a standard knife thickness, it is a thin blade. But it's meant to be thin. This is not an EDC knife, although I mean it would probably do okay in that roll. It's 14C. It's plenty tough enough, and the blade isn't like super thin where it's like bending or anything like that. But what this is going to do is this is going to be one slicey monster with as thin as this blade is. And knowing what you usually know about, and I haven't even felt the edge on it, but knowing what I usually know about how Kaiser sharpens knives and the quality control that O-Knife uses, and then the thinness, this is probably going to be ridiculously good. And it is just, it's crazy. Like, it is just, well, if I don't put it at some weird, stupid angle, but like it's for a factory edge. That is stupid good for a factory edge. So I'm really excited about this. One thing that I'll be doing with this, and I don't know, maybe I ought to not tell anybody, but I don't think my audience is going to be big enough that that's really going to matter. So next year for Blade Show, Mr. Zach in the Wild, when they're doing the paper cut challenge, this will be the knife I use for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my Work Sharp, and I'm pretty sure it's already at probably a 15 or 17 degree, but I'm going to lay what I usually do for my kitchen knives, which is a 15 degree edge, and I'm going to polish that up real nice. And as thin as that stock is, I'm doing that little paper cut challenge, should be in the bag, so that'll be fun. So that's the R1. I'm just kind of running out of places to set stuff. Let me clear off. I accidentally used my hatchet box here as a table. So let's take a look at this hatchet. All right. Let's see, is there anything else in there? Nope. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. So I've been able to see plenty of guys talking about this. I've got a couple of hatchets that I keep in and around for my kit, but this one I was really excited about. Weight on it's actually really nice. I've heard a couple of people say that the weight might be a little heavy. It's not too bad. It does have the kind of the Tek-Lok here for the belts. Let me go ahead and get this plastic off here. Alright, we'll come back to the sheath. So, really, really like the design of this. What I really like about it is the way that they did the head here, the way that they did the grinds with the head. A lot of the times you'll see something you can do with knives, hatchets, so on and so forth, is planting the blade in a stump and then using as a draw knife. Well, with that cutout, like the way they did that, you will literally be able to do just that. You will be able to bury the blade into a stump and then have this exposed edge here for doing that, for doing draw cuts, for doing, stable feather sticking, whatever you want to do with this hatchet, you can do it with that edge. But also what that'll mean, because this isn't part of the primary chopping edge, is that I can put a different angle on this part here to make this a finer edge, or an edge that's got a little more, able to get a little more of a fine edge on this side, and still retain, the thicker edge here for chopping performance, longevity, things like that, and not have to worry about chipping out or anything of this higher or this narrower edge angle, but still getting that cutting performance up here. Again, that's just something that I instantly thought of when I seen this design. The other part I've heard, a lot of people are talking about the removable head here for the hammer. So yeah, that is a really awesome design cue as well. Not only because you can replace the head if it's damaged or whatever, which, you would have to beat the hell out of this thing to damage it. What I like about it is I can remove this, and then with this thing's weight, without this hammerhead on here, this would make an absolute awesome throwing hatchet, and it would stick with authority, because it is still fairly heavy, but without this hammerhead on here, it would bring the weight down significantly, and it would, in my opinion, I think it would throw really well. I could be wrong, but we're going to try it eventually. You got the OD Green G10, and let's see, I'm going to take off camera here real quick and look. Okay, no, it's just where the G10's discolored. I thought maybe those were like some sort of a collar around the screw, but it's just discoloration where they milled out the G10. So you got your really nice little pry bar nail puller here. Let's go ahead and might as well, right? Go ahead and give it the old paper test. See if this hatchet will cut paper. Yep, I'm gonna have to zoom out again. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna try to do this around the tripod. Oh god, that's just too good. Guys, this thing is sharper than that daggum knife is. It is stupid sharp. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's very impressive. When you consider the fact that, God, I don't even know how much this thing was. I mean, the whole kit was on sale for like $150 or something like that. I think it was $150. That included the knife, the driver, the whistle, the key ring, the whole nine. So I know this is, you know, a sub $100 hatchet, especially if it's on sale. And that thing out of the box is outperformed. I mean, just with something simple as cutting paper, outperformed a hatchet. I'm not going to name any names, but a hatchet that I spent more money on. So that's really impressive. So I don't know about the blade hole. I don't know if that's, you know, if you're meant to get a grip on it, or how it's meant to grip, and if you're meant to, you know, hold it some sort of way, but I'm trying to find a way that makes it. I guess you could do it like that, as doing push cuts with it. Again, I think maybe it's probably meant more for, you know, doing like this, but I'm a lefty, so I'd have it flipped over. So let's see if that works. Let's try that. Yeah, maybe. I'm choked up on it doing some sort of push cut or something, you know, some sort of fine detail work. But to me, this is way more comfortable than this. So weight savings, that's probably one design choice where I question. I don't know what service or what purpose the hole serves. Outside of that, you know, I'm really, really ready to see how this thing performs. The handles feels very nice. Got just enough contouring here to lock your hand in. You do have the lanyard hole down here. I would prefer a lanyard hole up here, but that's just me. That might be, maybe that's what I'll use that big old hole for. But then you do have the ramp up here for for grabbing it up top. We'll see if this becomes an issue when swinging. I don't think it's going to. It's not long enough to really come in contact with your arm or anything like that. So I don't foresee there being any issues with that. I don't foresee any issues with hot spots or anything. The texturing is just good enough. It's not extremely bad, but anyway, this video is drawing on for quite a while, so I apologize to you guys for making it such a long video. For those that are hanging in there, continue to hang on. You know, you'll get to hear something that probably nobody else will get to hear. So if you're still on, still watching, keep watching. Got the sheath on, and then that's where you would keep the sheath on it to do your hammering. That way you're not swinging a live blade at your head. Really cool. Really impressed with that hatchet. Now we're going to zoom back in and get to, like I said, honestly, my star of the show. This little bit driver. I told Toby when we were at dinner at Blade Show that I just knew that this thing was going to be an absolute hit. I told him it would sell out the very first time they showed it, and I was right in all accounts. They give you a little piece of paracord, I'm guessing, to make your own lanyard or whatever with. But this thing is just absolutely awesome. So here is the Obai O-Knife Otical D1 titanium bit driver. So you've got your door here that is held in, I believe it's held in twofold. So I think there is, let's find out. Nope, it's just one thing. So you've got a really nice heavy duty detent ball, and you can hear it. It clicks in really well. And one thing that I told him was the fidget factor. People are going to be fidgeting with this thing. The only thing that worries me, and it probably will stop me from fidgeting with it, is there's nothing here on the back side of this to prevent there from getting a valley wore in right here. And you can already see, just opening it a few times, where the detent ball is rubbing on the titanium. Now, that being said, that detent ball clicks in there and engages well enough that I'm not worried about it becoming a problem with the door opening by accident. But I think for maybe for future renditions, so Toby or Liv or Angela, if y'all are hearing this, maybe have this part machined down and do a steel insert in here somehow. I don't know how that, or if that's even possible, but that might be kind of a way to stop a potential problem. I don't know if it would be a problem or not. Time will tell. But inside you've got 4 double-sided bits. So you've got your Phillips and flathead times 2. Or no, this one here is double Phillips, excuse me. Then you have 2 hex drivers. I don't know the exact sizes on here. So the sizes are not printed on the bits themselves. So that's another thing to consider. But I do know that you have a T6 and a T8 right here. So the bits do magnet again. They're not hard to get in and out, but they're not going to fall out. Let's just see. Let me go ahead and put my other bits up. So we've got our T8 here. Okay, so there is some wiggle here, but the wiggle is not in the bit. So the bit, well, there is a little bit in the bit, but that's to be expected. There's the smallest amount of play. You might be able to see it here. Yep, so just a small amount of play there. But nothing that's going to, I'm not worried about the bit spinning or anything like that. Just because I know people are going to want to know about it. So there is just, hopefully y'all can see that there. Just the smallest amount of play there. A little bit more. There we go. Now we got a drop shutty. A little bit of the good old, just drop a KPL just in there. Just try to see if I can get that to go in. I don't know if I did mention it or not, but this knife uses PB washers instead of bearings, which is what you want in a knife that's meant for cooking, things like that. You don't want crap to get inside and muck up the bearings. But it'll flick open now. Let's see if I can reverse flick this thing. Let's try down here without. Well, can't quite reverse flick it. More my hands than anything else. There we go. Take some practice, but main thing I wanted was for it to drop shut, and still no blade play. Perfect. All right, back to the driver. So just in that instance is exactly what I want this thing for. I plan on keeping this, and this is going to be my daily carry driver. Like, I will have this thing with me at all times. I can't tell you how many times somebody's asked me to take a look at their knife or to play with their knife, or, hey, you got a knife here, check this one out, and it be just because a lot of the guys and people that I hang out with around my house aren't, quote unquote knife people. They just happen to carry a knife, and it may be a Walmart knife or a Lowe's knife or whatever, and I can, with this, just easily make an adjustment on their pivot or whatever and get the knife to function better, and just do that on the fly. I haven't carried a driver before, so I was really waiting for this one. I didn't want to buy another one because I knew this thing was coming out. But again, what makes this one really cool is that right there. So you can take your bit, insert it in. Now, no, it's not, there's nothing to hold it there, but it doesn't just fall out. There's a little bit of a friction fit that kind of holds it. And you can see the other side of the bit pops up through the bottom. But you can use that and get as an L driver and have that extra torque that you need. But with that being said, let me grab one of my trusty. So this is my Wera tools. You can see the difference in thickness here. So even though this is a pocket driver, the way that it's machined, the way that they made it, I don't think you'll need to use that very often, just because with it being perfectly squared off and the texturing that's on it just from the being raw titanium or sandblasted or whatever, you have way more than enough grip to be able to turn a fastener, especially on a knife. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, just right there, it worked fine. Adjusting a pivot, that's mainly what it'll be used for. That small size, I'll probably get some sort of a lanyard or something on it and have my buddy Ian make a lanyard for it. So, all right, guys. Well, with that, it's time for me to sign off. This has been a 40-minute video, which is absolutely insane. I never thought I would do a video this long, but I had a lot to talk about here. So I'll go ahead and bring everything in. The reason I wanted you guys to hang out till the end, those that did, will know about this. Those that didn't, will just have to wait. As I said, I'm creeping up on 50 subscribers now. Once I hit 100, I'm definitely going to do a giveaway. I'll probably do my first live stream and do some sort of giveaway during the live stream that will most likely have in a couple of things that I've got hanging out that I've received over the time. Some things from some extra stuff from Olight, extra stuff from Obuy, just some random stuff that I've gotten. I will try to include maybe a knife, so on and so forth. But, just like they are for everybody, things are a little tight right now. But we're pretty good ways away from, we're halfway there. So I'll have time to make it an absolutely epic giveaway to celebrate 100 subscribers. So if you guys could tell everybody to give me a like, give me a subscription here, or subscribe, and I'll try to keep this content coming. If y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me either on Instagram or in the comments below. And as always, I hope you guys have a nice day. Take care.